Hi, my name is Isabel Frasier, and I'm a fourth year here at the University of St. Andrews. I'm writing my fourth year dissertation on the intersection between blockchain technology and peacebuilding. I'm examining the ways in which blockchain technology can be used in peacebuilding processes, restorative justice, and conflict resolution, as well as the ways in which blockchain technology might pose as a hindrance to it. The rise of AI and ChatGPT over the past several months has been very intriguing to me, as I think it's critical to understand the implications of new technology on peacebuilding processes in order to make sure that they're not mismanaged. Janky or early prototype versions of AI have been around since the 1950s and the rise of computing. The power for artificial intelligence has increased exponentially over the past 10 years. Now, AI such as ChatGPT can solve bar exams, medical exams, plan birthday parties. However, with great power comes great responsibility, and there's also significant dangers that come with the use of AI. Perpetuating biases, misrepresenting information, or unintentionally exacerbating conflicts. I'm not sure if I came up with this term myself, or if I heard it once and I've just been regurgitating it, but there's nothing about it on the internet. So I want to discuss the idea of a panoptic technocracy and its implications on peace, conflict, and justice in the age of AI. My research in peacebuilding within the School of International Relations has largely been influenced by the works of Johann Galtung, the father of peace studies, some of whom's articles are within the Museum of Peace already. However, I wanted to add another article which details his ideas on peace, development, and civilization, as AI is an important part of development and civilization. In this source, he articulates the way that peacebuilding ought to be conducted in a developing civilization. He says peacebuilding should be a long-term process aimed at addressing the underlying causes of violent conflict and creating societal conditions that support sustainable peace. He also emphasizes that peacebuilding is not just about stopping violence, but also promoting social justice, human rights, and the rule of law. Peacebuilding is a process which typically involves a wide range of stakeholders, including governments, civil society organizations, local communities, which require a sustained, coordinated effort over a prolonged period of time. Currently in the Library of Peace, there's an excellent article by Ronnie Lipschutz which describes the neoliberal notion of peace as relying far too heavily on military, technical, and economic justice, and often ignores any initiatives which are meant to achieve social justice. Building on the notion that neoliberal peace is not the way forward, I'd like to integrate two new definitions into the discourse around AI and peace: conflict transformation by Herbert Kellman and restorative justice by Howard Zehr. Kellman described conflict transformation as a strategy aimed at transforming relationships between conflicting parties from a negative adversarial relationship to a positive cooperative one. Zehr defined restorative justice as a method of healing the harm caused by crime and conflict by involving parties in a process of dialogue and reparation. Both of these processes require a willingness to engage in dialogue and compromise, and the ability to recognize and address the root causes of conflict. Because there's no active definition for panoptic technocracy, I'd like to share my own definition. A system of governance led by technical experts, in which decision-making is primarily driven by data and technical knowledge, and pervasive surveillance and control are used to maintain order and compliance. This comes from two words, the panopticon and technocracy. The panopticon was originally proposed by the philosopher Jeremy Bentham in the 18th century as a theoretical prison design in which a central watchtower allowed for the constant surveillance of inmates, who were never sure if they were being watched, inducing a state of self-discipline and compliance due to the fear of being observed. The panopticon has become a metaphor for the pervasive surveillance and control in digital spaces today. Technocracy refers to a system of governance in which decision-making is based on technical knowledge and expertise, rather than political or ideological considerations. In a technocracy, power is concentrated in the hands of technical experts or elites who are seen as best equipped to make decisions for the good of society. In order to better understand this topic, I've broken down the impacts of AI on peace, conflict resolution, and restorative justice into three parts: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The use of AI within the Syrian civil war is a good way to illustrate the benefits of AI within peace. An initiative called the Syria Digital Lab was established to use AI-driven language translation tools to break down communication barriers between Syrian refugees and aid workers. By providing real-time translations of Arabic to other languages, the platform facilitated better understanding and cooperation between refugees and aid organizations, allowing them to collaborate effectively and address the humanitarian crisis. Further, in 2016, the United Nations used AI-driven sentiment analysis to better understand the opinions and sentiments of Syrians during the peace talks. The initiative, called the Syria Conflict Monitor, analyzed 2 million social media posts in Arabic, providing insights into the key concerns, hopes, and fears of the Syrian population. These insights were valuable for negotiators, enabling them to tailor their approach to better understand the needs and aspirations of the people affected by the conflict. The Syria Tracker employed AI crowdsourcing technologies to collect and verify data on human rights violations and war crimes in Syria. By enabling citizens to report incidents through a secure platform, the project empowered local communities to document their experiences and hold criminals accountable. The AI system was used to synthesize data, identify patterns, and corroborate reports to ensure accuracy. This information was then shared with the international organizations, human rights groups, and policymakers to inform their decisions and actions related to the Syrian crisis. This is decomposed into 3 separate case studies to demonstrate the negative impacts of AI on each method. Misinformation and ethical concerns within the peacebuilding process can be demonstrated through the case study in 2020 of the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, where social media platforms were flooded with false narratives and misinformation, which was fueled by AI content that amplified divisive messages and targeted specific audiences. Biased algorithms selectively prompted certain narratives, leading to a polarized environment and exacerbating the conflict. Data concerns and privacy violations emerged as a significant ethical concern during the conflict. The use of facial recognition software by both sides to identify enemy combatants and civilians raised concerns about privacy violations and the potential misuse of personal data. The use of AI deepfakes severely erodes the trust within the conflict resolution and transformation processes, as is evident through the case study of Ali Bongo in 2018. In 2018, a video of Gabon's president Ali Bongo appeared to address the nation after months of absence due to health issues. Authenticity of the video was called into question, and many speculated that it was deepfake created to cause concerns about the president's health and maintain political stability. Research report from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute shows the controversy surrounding the video led to increased tension and mistrust among the Gabonese people and opposition groups. Escalations caused coup attempts by a faction of the military in 2019, citing the deepfake video as evidence of a cover-up about the president's health. Although the coup attempt was unsuccessful, it demonstrated the potential of deepfakes to increase mistrust and heighten tensions in a politically unstable environment. Because the information that feeds AI algorithms comes from unequal structures, it can often perpetuate biases and render discriminatory results, which impedes the justice process. This is evident through a case study about the COMPASS risk assessment. The COMPASS, or Correctional Offender Management Profile for Alternative Sanctions, is an algorithmic system designed to predict the likelihood of a defendant's recidivism. Used by courts and correctional facilities in the United States to inform decisions regarding pretrial release, sentencing, and parole, this tool evaluates individuals based on a variety of factors, including criminal history, age, and employment status. In a study by Tulane University, they found that this risk assessment disproportionately assigns higher risk scores to African American and women defendants. Moving on to the red part, which is the ugly, and I visualize this as being a panoptic technocracy, which features a consolidation of power and censorship through the use of AI, isolation and lack of community engagement, and diminished role of human agency. The case study that I think highlights this the best is the use of China's social credit system. China's social credit system, launched in 2014, was created to assess the trustworthiness of its citizens by monitoring their behavior, both online and offline, assigning them a social credit score. While the system claims to promote good behavior and social order, it has raised concerns about the consolidation of power, censorship, human agency, and lack of community engagement. Facial recognition, big data analytics, and AI-driven surveillance enable Chinese government to track citizens' movements, purchases, and online activities, allowing authorities to exercise control over the population and suppress dissenting voices. For instance, individuals with low credit scores can face restrictions on travel, job opportunities, and access to social services, effectively censoring and marginalizing those who do not conform to the government's expectations. AI-powered surveillance can render an environment of fear and suspicion among the populace, leading to self-censorship and isolation as individuals become wary of engaging with their communities and expressing their opinions openly in fear of being condemned by the system. This lack of community engagement and open dialogue can hinder social cohesion and create barriers to addressing shared challenges and fostering collective action. The social credit system relies on AI-generated insights to make critical decisions that impact citizens' lives. This reliance can diminish the role of human agency and empathy in decision-making processes, as AI-generated decisions may not fully account for the nuances in human behavior and the diverse circumstances that influence one's actions. As a result, citizens may be unfairly penalized or subjected to biased decisions without the opportunity to explain or consent the AI-generated assessment of their behavior. Some final takeaways about the responsible development of AI. In terms of peace, I think accessibility and transparency are crucial to being responsible in building effective peace. Making AI systems more understandable to both experts and non-experts and stakeholders can better scrutinize the workings of these technologies and ensure that they are being used ethically and responsibly. Transparency initiatives can also help build trust among conflicting parties and foster a more open and collaborative environment. In terms of conflict resolution and conflict transformation, ethical standards are a vital step in ensuring that these technologies are employed responsibly. Such guidelines should address issues like data privacy, algorithmic fairness, transparency, accountability, as well as the importance of human decision-making in the process. Adhering to these ethical standards, practitioners can mitigate the risks associated with AI and use it to promote its positive impact on conflict management. Restorative justice is deeply impacted by the collaborative process and also by others' ability to understand each other, which is a huge part of digital literacy. Understanding technology and understanding people around you can greatly impact the way that we can restore justice after conflict has occurred. Encouraging collaboration between AI developers, peacebuilding practitioners, and policymakers can help prevent the rise of a panoptic technocracy. Involving a diverse range of perspectives in the development and deployment of these systems, it is possible to ensure that these technologies are designed in ways that are used that prioritize human needs. Fostering digital literacy is critical, and critical thinking skills in the public is essential to equip individuals with the knowledge and skills to understand, evaluate, and question AI-generated content, so that they can become more resilient to misinformation, manipulation, and the erosive effects of pervasive surveillance. An interesting article that highlights the importance of literacy, but also creativity in the AI space, is the creativity that can be diminished actually from the AI space, but indirectly this article speaks about it, from Jim Garrison and Joseph McKinney. It is a synthesis of Foucault and Rousseau, and it speaks about education essentially being a commodity, and those who are not wealthy enough to afford the commodity of education get left behind. But also, by the same tender, we cannot commodify education, because by commodifying literacy and education, we're diminishing the creative process and development forward by it only being allowed into the hands of the elite. By having systems that are able to do everything for us, we diminish a lot of creativity, and in that we diminish a lot of progress as a society. And so thinking about the use of AI in practical terms, we must not let it overtake our educational systems as they are set up, as the AI systems are set up unequally, which perpetuates an unequal narrative, which also renders us creatively behind.